Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. John Lingan, the author of Backbeats, A History of Rock and Roll and 15 Drummers. John Bonham, Bonzo, great quote from Robert Plant, you include in the book to describe Bonzo's steadiness on the bass pedal. Jimi Hendrix was blown away by it. And Robert said to Jimmy after the show, he's like a rabbit.
He's like a rabbit, yes. If I'm breaking any news in this book, I do believe that that is an original Jimi Hendrix quote that Robert Plant shared with me when I interviewed him.
Don't recall ever hearing that before.
Yeah, it was such a fascinating anecdote because, of course, Plant has amazing, insightful things to say about Bonzo's playing. But, you know, Jimi Hendrix is like, he's not just a guitar player, like he's the guitar playing genius. And so it's like the idea of a guy with that level of sort of instrumental command watching Led Zeppelin early in London, and then immediately the first thing he wants to talk about isn't Jimmy Page. He wants to talk about the drummer. I think that really embodies kind of what Bonham brought to that instrument. It was just like he was, you know, kind of a Hendrix equivalent, you know, in many ways.
Sure. He played ghost notes on the bass drum without sacrificing intensity or energy. For those not familiar, what is a ghost note and what made Bonham so good at that?
A ghost note is just sort of the technical term, as we say, for those kind of those sort of half hits in between the main backbeats. So instead of that like boom bop doing the boom bop boom bop boom bop boom, it's that like that sort of echo. It's just, as they say, they call it the ghost because it's just the sort of like tail. So any kind of like, as we say, like that's one of those ways to get that variance and intensity and in volume really that drummers can use. And so a lot of people can do that on their hands or with one hand. And Bonham was really one of the first people to do that with his bass drum foot. And you can hear that right off the top. Side one, track one, you know, on the Led Zeppelin self-titled album. Good Times, Bad Times. You can hear like his entrance when he comes in with the funny little hi-hat thing. And then he does this, like, once Plant comes in, he does these great little like triplet, almost like boobada kind of movements on the bass drum. And similar to how people reacted to Hendrix, that's just one of those like people in the club are going to look at that and just be like, oh my God, who the hell is this guy? That's just like a real path-breaking new kind of way to blow people's minds with the drum set in 1968.
I remember reading about the song Rock and Roll, and Bonham intentionally messed with it a little bit so anybody that was going to do any cover band that was going to try to do it would have difficulty with it. And that reminds me of the Hal Blaine thing with like, where's he going with this at the start of the song?
Right.
You're not sure when he's going to come in when hit the bass pedal.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's so hard because I believe what you're referring to is there's the great song Rock and Roll starts with a drum intro. And from the way he plays it, you like find yourself going like, here comes the entrance of the whole band, and you're always wrong. And I believe that's because he actually starts the fill on beat 2 of a measure. So it's like an 8-beat, a 2-measure phrase, but he starts on the 2. So it's a 7, it's like a 7-beat fill instead of what you would expect to be an 8-beat fill. Just an example of that. Yeah. And I think he was conscious from the start that like he had the kind of style that people were going to be kind of mesmerized by, and I don't think he was in any way like worried about people nicking his moves or anything like that. But I can definitely imagine him being like, oh, I'll make it harder in a playful sort of way to ape my style. Yeah.